It has been 6 months from the last time I suggest CTPs for all tier 4s, and yes, this looks so outdated. Let's go and fix it. Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna do the video I wasn't doing for 6 months, as it seems has been a lot of time. And believe it or not, 6 times ago this video, the best CTP for every tier 4 character was updated and it was legit. But as it seems, after 6 months a lot of things have changed inside the game, and I'm gonna help you prioritize where to equip all the CTPs you took on Black Friday, doing a video to help all together, because I have a lot of people asking me where to equip this, where to equip that. I want you to roast me, I want you to tell me where to equip on my account and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put down all the CTPs, I'm gonna put down the information that I'm gonna share with you, why I believe this CTP works for this character, etc, as faster as I can, because as you can see, last time was 35 minutes. I don't want to delay you, but as you can see, this is something that absolutely needed. The previous tier 4 list, as you can see, it's super outdated. I have a lot of characters that are out of the meta, and we took a lot of new uniforms. So first things first, I'm gonna swap the camera, because on this video I have to be from this side. And yes, let's go and see all tier 4s, what's the best CTP to equip on them. Before we go through that, guys, I want you to make sure that you have smashed the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit me down below in the comments if you think that something is wrong or you believe that you can make better work. I'm gonna drop a link on this specific tire maker so you can go and fix your own and share it through Discord or any other social media with me. So let's go and see one by one all characters, all tier 4 characters, all uniforms, new uniforms, what's the best CTP for them. So I make a new list here. I have to let you know from now on that we're talking about mighty CTPs in most cases, guys. The normal CTPs are even worse than obelisks in some cases, but other CTPs like CTP of Rage, Judgment, Energy doesn't need to go through mighty to have any value for your account. So I'm gonna go through all of them and tell you really fast if they work normal or not. Liberation actually works normal, but has a really small effect to your support characters. You need to have it mighty either on the HP to go for PvP, or mighty on the damage against bosses to go for PvE. For raids, you don't need it to be mighty. Even normal raids has a huge impact in your account, so feel free to have it normal or not. Conquest needs to be mighty. Energy needs to be normal. Grid needs to be mighty. And energy, of course, if it's brilliant, it's even better. I'm gonna let you know which characters must have a brilliant to equip on them and being good. Grid need to be mighty. Destruction need to be mighty. Insight doesn't have problem being mighty or not. Normal gives actual similar buff to the mighty. Authority need to be mighty. Refinement need to be mighty. Regeneration need to be mighty, and Judgment does not need to be mighty. So let's start from somewhere, and I'm gonna add another row for characters that you shouldn't actually have equipped CTPs. In my mind, there is a lot of them. But yes, let's start from somewhere and let's go one by one in the list for characters that I'm kind of sure what to equip on, and characters that I feel like I need to think more of it. I'm gonna let you know later on. So let's start from somewhere, and let's take here old uniform Captain America. I feel like he was working perfect with regeneration. The new Captain America works also with regeneration, gives him a lot of value, but in my mind the new one needs a CTP of destruction, because it provides you an extra proc, and combined with the immortality he gets, having Hex into your group, a mighty destruction would be better in my mind. But the new Captain America is somewhere like here. So for new Captain America, I would go for a mighty destruction. For the old, a mighty regeneration. Jean Grey still needs to have a raid just because she's meta for one ABX day, and you can use her also for ABL, and in the same time she holds the value on PvP. You know, she's mostly these days used for Alliance Conquest, but still she is really strong. Hulk with this uniform is a raids user, and I'm gonna put this on a priority, which one you should focus on equipping a raids, because Hulk has way more days for ABL and ABX. You should go for him. Old uniform Hulk from the other side works better with a regeneration. The old uniform Hulk is really good, as you can see here, with a regen, just because the HP boosts his damage, and as a striker, because an Alliance Conquest, that's the best case scenario for the old uniform Hulk being a striker. The extra HP that he has from the beginning helps him generate a better hit on proc compared to a raid. So as a striker, he's better than with a regen. Thor, also new uniform, feels to work better with a judgment somehow. The new uniform is better with a judgment, and it's really good for playing World Boss Legend. It's really good to play actually farming also. You can use him for ABL, but in my mind, you know, if you have his old uniform, only you should go for raids and use him as a striker. As a striker, his old uniform with a raids is better than a judgment somehow, and the old uniform also has more damage than the new uniform having a raid. So all uniform raids and use him as a striker mostly. New uniform, you can use the character and you can take advantage of a judgment pretty well. Sentry now is the #1 conquest user in my mind. He still needs this defense because his damage is crazy, you know. People use him with grid also for really stacked account, but in my mind, Sentry needs the conquest to survive in some situation, especially now against nulls around timeline battles. You know, it's really hard to survive. Gladiator, also a new addition on the list. In the previous list we didn't have yet Gladiator, but Gladiator delivers perfect with the raids. I can imagine him being used for PvP, and I have seen people using him with a regeneration, but the damage he provides for ABL and ABX is crazy compared to his value having him, you know, for Alliance Conquest or anything else. Adam Warlock comes into first place for grid right now, because he is really strong, and also he needs the super guard break community to actually perform the strong hits he has on his second skill. Somehow when you have energy, you are not able to cast your skills proper. Even with an energy, he can be used. In my mind, Mighty Grid is the best to go. You can use him also with an egg or with a conquest, because he has also built on his passives guard break immunity, so you don't need passively guard break immunity, and with a conquest you can get more tanky and do more hits, but grid is something he needs to produce the damage that gonna one-shot the enemy. That's why I put grid, because also accept the damage provide the super guard break immunity that can help you survive actually. Now we're going into Silver Surfer, and even if I unequip the egg from Silver Surfer and put my Silver Surfer a conquest, conquest is gonna give you one of the best results in the game, but egg is surprisingly good for specifically Silver Surfer. You can find Silver Surfer surviving Alliance tournament with it. You can find Silver Surfer surviving timeline battle. It's really strong on him. The fact that you get extra HP on your pool, you know, provides you extra reflect, etc, etc. Conquest also is really good to go, but yeah, I feel like still egg is the way for Silver Surfer, and if I had a second brilliant, I would equip it on him most likely. Now we have another situation here, which is Cable. With Cable, there is this dilemma, you know, ABX or World Boss Legend. If you go for AB, you know, if you go to get the maximum value on your account for ABX and ABL, Cable is still the best for one specific day compared to Psylocke, but because Psylocke is used for 2 of the days, most of the people have turned their Cable into Distraction or Energy. Both energy and distraction is really good for him, but I'm gonna put him here on, you know what, let's put him on energy. he needs to have a crafted energy or destruction to go through really high stages of World Boss Legend. That's why you're gonna see a lot of people using him with a brilliant energy or brilliant destruction. In my case, I don't have that. I have a mighty raids, so I keep have him for with the raids for ABL actually. Namor is a really strong unit for World Boss Legend, and he is even better with a Judgment. The Judgment fits him perfect, and the fact that he has a weird tier 3 that, you know, he goes around the stage swimming and do all this stuff, you know, the proc that the Judgment has that gives you a duration of 5 seconds help you not missing your procs. Magneto is a raids only unit, but after the slaughter he took from, you know, Doctor Strange came into the game, Magneto is outdated already, so yeah, a lot of people gonna find themselves have him naked, you know. I have no CTP on my Magneto, but raids is the only way that he can actually work. Mystique I had here on raids because she was the only strong unit from the tier 4, but now an Inside would be the best option for her to use here for a World Boss Legend Plus or something like this. If you're using her for ABX, you know, as a support, a lot of people using her actually. So I'm gonna start with an Inside for her. After that we have Rogue the Super Farmer, and Rogue the Super Farmer works similar with a Judgment or a Rage. If you have a Rage on here and you don't have Psylocke, she is the #1 for this specific day, the female day of ABL. But if you have Psylocke, you're going into a Judgment to have really good results farming rifts, but also having a World Boss Legend option to go with her and dismantle everything. After that we have Black Panther. Black Panther cannot work with a proc, probably. It's really bad, you know. That characters like Black Panther is the reason I want to include a no CTP situation like Old Venom also. I mean, yes, I wouldn't waste an old Venom uniform, a CTP or Black Panther. So you know what? I'm gonna include one more row just for these boys. I mean, yes, if you are a big fan of Black Panther and the old uniform Venom, you can go with a raid on both of them, but it doesn't feel like this worth to be equipped. Let's go to the old uniform Carnage, and old uniform Carnage for me was working really nice with an authority, but Egg is the way for him to. Carnage and Silver Surfer feels to be the best for that. Dr. Octopus also still one of the best value characters to have a raids on, but the fact that Hulk out DPS him after, you know, you have your Avengers team up collection boosted, after you have your Hulk really busted and have a lot of HP, you're gonna end up scoring similar with Dr. Octopus for ABL, but also similar better score for ABX. At least for my account, Hulk scores more than Dr. Octopus, and you have to consider that Dr. Octopus gameplay is way harder. Only really good players can outscore Hulk on their own accounts. Moon Knight is really good with an energy, but yes, I mean, do not equip. Iron Man also, I mean, okay, bro, it's brutal. You know, removing characters from CTPs. Okay, Black Panther and Venom can stay here. The rest, no, I'm gonna add them in the rest. But Black Panther Venom has no value for real right now in the game. So Luna Snow, it's the first you should focus on equipping a rage. If you don't have Luna Snow to go for as first, after that it's Gwenpool for the accounts that missing this specific day of ABX and ABL. Gwenpool can provide you similar days, actually exactly the same days, but instead of the hero days of ABX, you can participate in villain days, the one that you can participate also with Jean, and the one that it's only for her, the villain speed day. And for ABL it's exactly the same with Luna, and she is the very next character to score high in this. So Gwenpool also, where are you, girl? Okay, here she is. Let's add Gwenpool. But if you have already Luna, you know, Gwenpool's value drops because she's usable only for ABX one day, or else you don't need her. So Psylocke, Shadow Cell is also a destruction user because she revives. Well, if you're using a team, with the defenders, not the defenders, Worst of the Sky. The Worst of the Sky revives. So when you wake up, you have an extra proc through with your Awaken skill, guard break immunity, and also some extra pierce, not pierce, ignore defenses. No, how it's called, bro? It's remove. Yeah, I bug. That's what I wanted to see. It's penetration, and for the character, this specific character is needed. For Spider-Gwen, I would go for an energy. Her value right now is only for World Boss Legend. For the people that miss Luna Snow and don't want to go with the specific tags, you can use her with the raids. It's the same situation as Spider-Gwen, but she's worse than Spider-Gwen, so it's kind of weird. Ghost Rider is the best to go with a Judgment. It's gonna provide you the best striker in the game. Actually, he and Thor are the best to use for ABL. The Thor with the raids, old uniform raids, and Ghost Rider with a Judgment or a raid actually can provide you the best ABL and ABX striker. Using a Mighty Judgment or Mighty Raids is not gonna give you huge difference or a normal one. The Brilliance is that gives you the big, huge bump. Loki also one of the best choices for a raid CTP. He is on this situation here. Ebony Maw is an insight, forever insight. Odin, I would go for a Judgment. As you can see here, he's getting into the bottom. And let's go for Thanos, and the first character I'm putting into Authority. Authority, it's something fits perfectly to Thanos and some other characters for PvP. He needs the damage reduction, on damage taken, and he can produce a lot of damage himself. So yeah, for the new uniform, for the Farmos Thanos, I would go for a distraction, to be honest, because he used to be, and he still is, a really good user for raids to replace Loki if you're pissed with Loki. But the difference, it's huge, and using him with a distraction can provide you a PvE aspect and a PvP aspect, using him as a hybrid. A lot of people using him with a distraction, that's why I want to mention that. For my Iron Man, the new Iron Man, I would go for a distraction also, because if the other option is energy, to be honest, but with energy sometimes your skills are getting cancelled, so you need the guard break immunity from distraction to perform skills better. Old Doctor Strange, doesn't worth a CTP, to be honest, so I'm putting him down below here. And the old Wolverine is really strong with a CTP of Greed. The old uniform Wolverine lacks the damage, so he needs something to boost his damage. He stays into the iframe, so he hides himself better, but in the same time does not have the damage that the new uniform of Wolverine provides him. And that's why the new Wolverine is a conquest user in my mind, because with the conquest you have better survivability and you can stay there, produce the damage that your 5th skill do, which is insane. The new uniform of Wolverine is better than the old in most cases, but that's the main reason. You need a defensive build for the new and an offensive build for the old. So in PvP is easier to go defensive instead of going offensive. Storm now, it's an inside user, I guess. A lot of people, me myself included, has great success for World Boss Legend with an energy. Believe it or not, she is not a Judgment user. With a Judgment, she is way worse than using her with a distraction or energy. But in that state of the game, Insight is the best to go for her in my mind. She could work also for Liberation because she considered one of the best supports to go for ABL, and I would suggest you to go for ABL only with the Liberations that you have. It's the best way, to take advantage of this buff. If you use specific characters that are buffing multiple times per week for your World Boss Legend, you're gonna get better advantage. but you need to know that Liberation has a different tier up to go and equip. I have made a video for all ABX and ABL days and how many of them you need. Fox is the best to go, Mysterio is the best to go. I can't actually suggest you Storm on that because there are limited, so go inside with Storm. In my mind, it's the best to go right now. And if you want to use here Energy or Distraction, as I told you, same thing for Cyclops. Old uniform feels like you know, he needs an insight. Sarah Rogers used to be real, and she is really strong with an energy. Energy or distraction is not really huge different, you know. Normal energy works, mighty distraction must be to be good and use here. Star-Lord also an energy user. If you don't have the other meta characters like Gladiator for ABL, you can use him with the raids too. Ant-Man doesn't really worth a CTP. Black Widow is surprisingly the best user for a brilliant energy if you have it. If you have it, she transforms herself into the best striker into the game and she can do miracles with it. Old uniform Spider-Man used to be really strong with a regen, but the new uniform feels to have him better with something with super guard break immunity. Miles Morales is better here with a judgment and there are not other CTPs to use him. Black Bolt has taken advantage of the distraction and being a menace for all World Boss Legend. He has specific, you know, specific stages that you can use him, but when you can use him, a proc can work really nice. Raids used to be the best for him when he was the best for ABX and ABL. Actually for ABL, he was never for ABX. Captain Marvel, in my mind, you know, she used to be meta of ABL, and for the people missing Wanda, she's still one of the best characters to use for there. Hela can use a distraction as a hybrid perfectly. You can take advantage of her with a distraction for PvE and PvP. For PvE, she's gonna, you know, destroy everyone with her tier 4 proccing on it, and for PvE she can take advantage of the penetration and the proc with her counter attack and one-shot enemies. Regen is also a really good solution for Hela, but I would say distraction gives her more in your account. After that, authority user is Madeline. Madeline can be worked with an egg too, but authority provides her a more stable performance in my mind. Better ABL is sadly an inside user too. I would say if you equip an inside there, you can have your Gladiator buffed or anyone else you're using for ABL. In the same time, he is really busted with an energy and use him for everything, you know. He's really strong character. It's not like he's bad or something, but it's one of the characters that you have to have an insight to get the maximum value out of Gladiator sooner or later. We have also Angel here, and Angel provides the buff that gives you for all team, you know, remove all debuff. So in my mind, you either want to use him with an insight or a liberation. I put him on a liberation on a PvP one because if you wanna, you know, high ranked on other world battle or something, yeah, it's the same, but that's the place he deserved to be. Gamora also busted with an energy. She's really strong. You can use her for PvE, for ABX. If you're missing Luna, she is the best hero for ABX, and she can be really strong with an energy. It's like similar using a rage with her. She is busted, and with the same CTP you can go level 80 or tier 4 and smash everything in World Boss Legend 2. She has multiple tags that helps her provide, you know, a solid performance for all stages in, you know, you can use her in a lot of stages in World Boss Legend. And you can get yourself a clear for ABX hero if you're combined here with a Gwenpool. You know, Gwenpool Gamora actually is really close to Luna Snow instead of using Spider-Gwen, which is really far from the damage of Luna and worse than Gamora and worse than Gwenpool separated. If you plan to go for Luna, you can use Spider-Gwen until you get Luna somehow, you know. Then we have Maya, that she is also, yeah, she can work with a regen, but it's Alliance Conquest situation. Authority also works really nice with her. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't sacrifice an authority for her, especially a brilliant or something, but a mighty authority or a mighty regen would be nice for her in my mind. Blue Dragon is the same situation with Shadow Cell, but in, you know, she's kind of more useful generally speaking. You want to use here Alliance Conquest, Otherworld Battle, Revive, Boom, do the Awaken skill and kills a couple of enemies. Professor X fits only for a Judgment, and he is kind of outdated. If I had to put him in a line, I would go like this, I guess. Old uniform, okay, for some reason I have multiple old uniform old uniform Venom here, icons. X23, it's a weird situation, you know, you're gonna see a lot of people using her with an energy or a distraction, a mighty distraction or a mighty energy. She's really strong with it because you can swap into her old uniform and complete Ultron 95 to 99. And in the same time, the fact that she gets kind of immortality, you know, into the end, you can take advantage of this time and proc multiple times on your 5th skill, actually 2 times before the passive, you know, your artifact pops out, and after you can take advantage of it and use it again. But generally, she is a PvP character, so a grid would fit here better if you don't care about Ultron 95 and all this stuff. That's why people actually use her like this. Quicksilver, in my mind, can be used with grid or authority. You can see a lot of people using both of them just because the Super Guard community that provides him, you know, provides him time to produce more hits. And in my mind, an authority could fit him more because he's kind of fragile sometimes. Wanda is also a really solid PvE meta for ABL and ABX. She used multiple days. For some reason, even if she's elemental type character, raids is way better for her. Deadpool is really strong with a conquest or a grid. In my mind, he needs more defense than offense. He has the damage, but both grid or conquest would fit him. I had conquest, I swapped him into a grid because I have limited conquest, and I guess most of you, so I put him on conquest, but in the same time grid is fine for him, easy peasy, he can be used. Deadpool, it's a failure, do not equip and CTP him, but yes, his damage could be something close to this. And I would use him for an energy or a distraction. He is a PvE only, and yes, this Deadpool is the PvE one, and it's not meta at all. I would not suggest you buy the uniform and equip any CTP. This one is way better. Of course, for both you need to have a CTP, an artifact. Psylocke is the very next best situation for a raids after this here, Luna, Hulk, Loki. Psylocke is the next because Psylocke is used 2 ABL days. ABL provides the best, you know, the best gifts, how it's called? The best rewards, yes, rewards, because it gives you Carbonadium at 12 million, so I would suggest you to focus on having one of on Psylocke. Psylocke works fine with a Judgment also, but not for ABL and ABX, and ABL and ABX is the main use for the character, so I would not tell you to equip anything else. War Machine also, I guess you can use him with a distraction, or for, you know, having also the penetration, but also he gonna end up being a support for your Iron Man with an insight. Does this thing work and worth? No, in my mind, he is kind of lame character to use generally. War Machine. Same thing for Hulkbuster. Actually, you know what? Hulkbuster is way better than War Machine. You can see Hulkbuster doing miracles in a Alliance Conquest, so an authority would be nice for him. and or perhaps a grid, but generally, you know, you can see you can have way better results with your Hulkbuster than War Machine. So if you want to equip a CTP on one of them, I would go for Hulkbuster. Destruction is also the best for Mr. Fantastic, and I wish that wasn't the case, but Mr. Fantastic feels to be a character really strong for World Boss Legend, but not the meta for anything in the game right now, sadly. So I would go for a Destruction to have him for other world battle if you wanna focus on a Fantastic Four team with Franklin and stuff like this. You know, it's like the worst of the sky actually right now. Same thing for the girl. She is kind of better because she provides also a buff, so you can have here with a liberation or something. But in my mind, you know, she works perfect with a Destruction, and you can use her as a hybrid for World Boss Legend or for other world battle and Alliance Conquest. Dr. Doom is one of the characters you want to use with authority in my mind too. He is really strong with also how it's called, Conquest, but I would not you know, spend a Conquest for a character that it's good for other world battle and Alliance Conquest actually. So yeah, that's the main value for the character in my mind. Human Torch is really strong character for World Boss Legend, and he is really strong with a Judgment, so Human Torch Judgment 100%. Apocalypse, same situation as Doom. He is good only for Alliance Conquest and other world battle. Most of the people could say Conquest is the best for him, but you need to have his Revive artifact. I don't have it, so yeah, in my mind, you know, Authority or Conquest are fine for him. He needs the defensive part more than the offensive part, so that's why you're not gonna see a lot of people using him with a grid. After that, we have Spider-Man, and the new Spider-Man has a lot of damage, but he struggles to cast the skill sometimes, and in my mind, he needs the Super Guard Break immunity from an Authority, or you can use him with a regen like the old one. But yes, in my mind, Authority gonna have better results for you for most accounts. Regeneration is more for whale accounts that's gonna boost his HP, and combined with the 6-star artifact and all the, you know, the extra dodge he's getting, the extra dodge from the guarding dodge, etc, you know, regen makes him work fine, but Authority is gonna be the best for most accounts in my mind. After that, we have Venom, and even if he's not meta for ABL and ABX, he has a really, you know, good place in my mind for raids. He is an absolute menace for World Boss Legend, and for ABL and ABX, he is the very next, you know, the very next better than Gladiator, using Gladiator for one ABX day. Actually, is Wolverine also really strong with his new uniform, but no one's gonna use Wolverine with a PV build, so yeah, that's why I'm saying a good alternative is Venom if you miss Gladiator, and also really strong, close to Hulk, but not like Hulk, but he is crazy with the raids for World Boss Legend, and it's one of the exceptions that I'm adding a character on the raids category that is not relative with ABX and ABL. I have put these two, but I explained it's a striker, and these two cannot be used with any other CTP and have really success, you know, so if you want to use the characters, you have to use them this way and only. After that, we have the absolute #1 meta changer, Doctor Strange, and perhaps he is, you know, you can compare his value with Luna's. He's better for 3 days than Luna these days, and also he has less days than Luna for ABL and the normal requirements, you know, as Blast, Speed has more days, so still Luna is the best, Doctor Strange is the second, Hulk, Loki has 2 days, Psylocke has 2 days, Hulk and Doctor Strange has also 2 days, but they have ABX value too. Loki has ABX value, but it's a bit behind these two. Psylocke is the very next character, can be used 2 times, and after is Wanda, Gladiator, Jean. Wanda Gladiator covers all the ABL days, these 3, 6, 8, actually 3, 6, 7 characters, And the rest of the characters, these two are for ABX, you know, they are only used for ABX, and the rest, as I explained, Bulbous Legend, Striker, outdated, and the very best option to play ABL some seasons, and he can do similar with Hulk, and even better if you play better. Then we have Wong. For Wong, I'm gonna tell you same thing that I told you about Captain America. He is nowhere close to these dudes here, you know. Yeah, I would swap this here. I would swap this, you know. Wong is another world battle unit that can produce more procs because he has immortality. If the character cannot die for 7 seconds, you can have a second CTP of Destruction proc with some extra penetration, so you want to use him with that. Or also you can go for an inside, you know, it's something that you can figure out yourself. After that, we have Agent Venom, and Agent Venom is the clearly winner of the CTP of Liberation CTP. You can see multiple users using him with that, with an HP PvP focused Liberation Mighty One, and he provides a really strong buff for the meta of you know, the symbiote meta. All the symbiotes gets huge buff from him. For PvP specifically, it's really huge. It's better than Colossus. You don't need him to have him tier 4 actually, but still Liberation is the best to go for him. If you want to use him with an insight, it's gonna be fine, you know, but other than that, I don't feel like he has great value to use him as a character that is gonna produce damage or something like this. After that, we have Hex. Hex has the same attitude with the other zombies. She's really strong with the destruction, and I would put her here. She is the removal debuff for all zombies, so the zombie team these days is really strong, and Hex deserves a destruction in my mind for the same reason, getting more procs during the immortality and also having some extra penetration. I would put her there after Mrs. Fantastic, you know, Sue Storm, because Sue Storm, you can use her for Bulbous Legend with great success too. Perhaps she can be used there too. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure. Something like this, you know. Destruction is the best way to go. So why thinking of it? X23 is the new icon here. This is the old icon. Okay, let's replace it. Carnage also really strong. The number one to go for a mighty egg is Carnage in my mind. So yeah, he's here. Old uniform also can be used with an authority, but this is, you know, the best to go for him. And now the big boy, the worst than everyone, Null, which is the best to go for a grid in my mind. So yeah, that's it. All the characters. I feel like it's more than 70 these days. My mouth is dry. I need to drink some coffee, sorry. But yes, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If I was, you know, unfair with the character, I totally get it. But in my mind, you know, that's the way this list should go for. Of course, you can see a lot of people using different CTPs. But like as an example, I've seen Sentry having a liberation. You have to consider that Sentry now considered as a lead support for now in some cases. Yes, it's disgusting, but you can see people using a liberation on him. You can see people using a liberation on a lot of characters, because liberation it's kind of rare and the effect is busted for PvP only. The mighty effect, or brilliant actually. But yes, there is a lot of situations that you can see people using different CTPs depending on account and what they want to do with the character. That's my final thoughts. That's the list for all the tier 4s, the best CTPs to go for. And I'm waiting your comments to see how wrong I went into this one. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Hope I helped you decide. See you into the next. Kisses in your faces!